Where will Tesla go this week? Well, not much of the week left. We'll find that out. But alrighty, guys. So as usual, we'll give everybody just a few minutes here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go over the news. Just basically 8:03. We'll go over the news really quickly. Take a recap and a look at what tomorrow's watch list is. Which is pretty much the same watch list as today, minus Li Auto, which I find to be incredibly irritating stock to trade. 1 second. Refresh that. There we go. Alrighty. So, if you guys are hopping in on TikTok, make sure to tap your screen. I do appreciate it. Alrighty. So, let's go ahead and recap today. So, man, Manny and me talked about the price action today, and it definitely was pretty excruciating to watch, participate in. We did end up getting one bounce play to the upside, hitting that resistance 160-250 on Facebook. But overall, every sector was still in the red via this gap down. Energy, 5.63%. Consumer discretionary, 4.9%. And technology, 4.07%, leading to the downside. We also saw Adobe shares fall about 2.9% after hours, despite beating earnings and revenue estimates like other large software company. It pointed to unfavorable foreign exchange rates. A strong U.S. dollar as its reason for softer guidance. Meanwhile, beating the top and bottom line couldn't save JBL from today's weakness. The stock was down 9.8%. Elon Musk and new SpaceX employees drafted an open letter to the company denouncing his behavior. Meanwhile, Musk joined Twitter staff for a Q&A session, sharing his thoughts on everything from space aliens to company's future. Given the overall market carnage, major indexes, SPY, QQQ, DIA, and cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously we're pretty much trending across the board. Top movers today, we saw EBIX, which was targeted by Hindenburg. I've actually been hit square in the mouth by Hindenburg, straight up, just a quick blast from the past. About over a year ago now, I bought shares of a company I thought was going to do pretty good. It did. Around $14, I bought GRWG. You can see right here, it ripped to the upside, and Hindenburg hit them. But like EBX, EBX fell 37.65% because the company has a fake revenue problem. Meanwhile, I won though. So anyway, other names, ADN actually rocketed 244%. By receiving funding from the Greek state. And I thought there's someone at my door. All right. Does Manny trade live? Yes. Your football share is badass. Thanks. I appreciate that. I thought I looked like I might do your taxes, if you threaten me. If you guys are in the live on TikTok, if you guys don't mind lending me your thumb, I don't usually ask people that, but so anyway, markets call central bankers bluff. Despite yesterday's relief rally, the market appears to be turning on Powell and the Federal Reserve again. Papa Powell tried to soothe the market with a 75 BP rate hike and some smooth talk, but after some mull over his message, the market is not buying it as of right now. Recession fears are picking up around the globe, with stocks making new lows across many U.S. and international indexes. Risk-off auction is occurring simultaneously as many central banks are raising rates at their most aggressive pace in decades to curb record-high inflation. Whew. Crazy. I actually have the list of interest rate raises from across the world. From England, India, Australia, Switzerland, Canada, and Argentina. So anyway, basically, just a overall rundown, as well as Revlon filed for bankruptcy, if that's relevant. But EU countries can't agree on Ukraine's bid to join the EU. Biden signed a ocean shipping bill. The bipartisan law will increase the transparency of industry practices and boost the investigatory authority of the Federal Maritime Commission. And that's it. All right, guys. How did I do today? We did okay. We made a little bit of money, but we're okay with walking away with a little bit and not losing a lot. As you can see, market really didn't give much. We again we talked about this today because a lot of people take the market personally, and that was kind of my main point today. Is whenever, and again, we've been trading Facebook since up here. We took a pretty decent sized short position. We played Facebook all the way to the downside. And then after those big moves, you're always going to change trend, even if that just means a period of consolidation. Mind you, we are at Facebook's support. So all in all, it really wasn't about money, but protecting cash today. Because if your strategy is created to take advantage of certain market conditions, I'm going to repeat this over and over, then you can agree that your strategy will not work all the time. And if you can accept that, then you can prepare for situations like this where we're trend trader. Well, those of you who trade with me are trend traders, right? We're looking for major changes in trend. And then ultimately we know we're going to go into a consolidation phase before we make our next move, especially being at levels of support like this. So that's ultimately extremely important. This market is nowhere near the bottom. Well, we are day traders, so we trade the ins and outs, and there are no straight lines except for Facebook over here. But there are no straight lines, so we're obviously looking at shorter time frames. But that brings me to obviously the main point here is that my watch list for tomorrow, looking at Facebook. So this one is at support. Now, I'm not going to go over this a ton because whether we gap down or gap up, and so far we're moving up and we're holding up. But if we gap down, that changes the dynamic of everything, and you probably are going to go ahead and count me out tomorrow, because if we do gap down, we're going, and I mean a gap down, I mean like anywhere on Facebook around 158, that would mean we would be underneath that resistance that I was just showing you, coming all the way from, I believe this is all the way back in April. So that being said, right, we do not want to short support. We want to wait and obviously watch for a reaction in order to pick a solid direction or trend. There is a big gap on Facebook all the way to 168, and everybody is short. So when everybody is short and there's quad witching as well tomorrow, I promise you we're in for a day. And a lot of people, I haven't seen anybody talking about quad witching tomorrow when all contracts across the market expire, futures, stock market. And so you're going to see a lot of rolling out. You're going to see a lot of volatility. You could see a lot of volatility. So not only is tomorrow a day where we are looking to trade, but we're also looking to protect our cash if we do not have a solid sense of direction. Because let me tell you guys something, I know when the market has hit a bottom or hit a consolidation phase, because the losses that I see increase exponentially. So, oftentimes it's better to wait and let the market tell you where it's going to go rather than guess. So all that being said, we got a falling wedge on support. We're looking for a potential run up to 50%. Okay, 50% of that gap fill, not all of it, 50% of it. That's 166.50. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. We will leave some runners, just obviously because it's Friday. But at that gap fill, you could expect a potential retest of the 172.30 level. Excuse me. But ultimately, that would be the third test, and it would create a demand zone or supply zone depending on the direction we head from here. 3.4 billion in options expire tomorrow. That is absolutely correct. I do live stream and trade. Next week you will not see me as much because I am going on vacation this weekend because I deserve it. No, I haven't taken a vacation in a while, so like years. Kids deserve it. All right. So besides that, I know everybody's going to ask me about QQQ, and then they're going to ask me about SPY. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at those. If you would like to have your ticker charted, go ahead and drop that in the YouTube channel chat. Oh, I thought I turned off the chat. Go ahead and just ticker number or dollar sign and ticker number, and I will go ahead and take your request. If you can't find the YouTube, it is the link in my bio. It's Simple Stacks Investments. That is where I'm live right now. Where can I see Manny stream? That is only in our Discord, and he is primarily a scalper. Okay, so QQQ. We have gone down on every single time frame, trying to obviously pick out, making sure that I'm not missing anything, making sure that I'm not seeing any confirmation bias, et cetera, et cetera. And I talked about this today, and I want you guys to take this with a grain of salt, okay? Because ultimately, these patterns can fail, but really can be confusing. And they're hard to spot, but this is what we call a broadening wedge, okay? And you guys know my theory, it's not mine, right? There's people smarter than me who do this. 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. I am speculating that on this broadening wedge, you'll notice that at that fill or at that resistance hit, if we squeeze tomorrow, which I'm not saying we will, and even if we did, it would just be a simple retest of that 289.76, which would ultimately lead Facebook up into its gap to hit that resistance. But this can fail at that third wave and actually dump all the way because we have a 3-day weekend. And that is probably the most important thing that you should have in the back of your mind is how many people are going to be buying and holding over a 3-day weekend after Powell just said the shit that he just said. And we don't really have any reason to go up. So I am okay with day trading tomorrow, given the circumstances, but not really keen on swinging anything but, what I'm okay with risking. So if you are risk adverse, obviously tomorrow probably not the day to swing. So, I told you last week Bitcoin hit 15K. Oh, you should have told me 2 months ago when I gave my 10K price target on Bitcoin. Just kidding. But I did. So can I do meta again? If you go to the YouTube channel right now, that is where I am streaming. We're gonna go ahead and do SPY, and then we'll go ahead and take these requests. Just comment on the YouTube channel. That way it doesn't. So those of you dropping requests, if you guys don't mind going to the YouTube channel, that way I can only see 3 comments and I can't really scroll up and down right now. So it would help me out, and then I can help you out. Help me help you. All right, sorry. So again, it's the same story over here on SPY. The same exact story. You'll take a look at SPY right now, and you'll actually notice that this thing is, and I've got to adjust this a little bit, but this thing is actually dangling underneath support. And one thing I know about supports is they can quickly be recovered. So today may not have been enough for me to fully accept, a total move to the downside as of yet. Now, Friday, again, quad witching. And then on top of that, you have the 3-day weekend. It's not outside of the question, and we have levels for that. But again, this one does have that potential reversal pattern on the hourly time frame. So we'll watch and see where we gap up. I think so far in extended hours, we're pretty much sitting flat. Futures are curling back. Oh, so take a look at that. You guys can see right now, spot ES is actually reacting to that support level right now. So there you go. So as long as we can hold that support, there's a potential anywhere above this level right here that we can 3,700 that we can go move to the upside. I feel like you're ignoring me. No, I am doing analysis right now and just staring at the chart, trying to give you guys my thoughts on the major ETFs, and then I'm gonna take your request. Okay. So let's see who commented on the YouTube. Nobody's dropped any request. Oh, there we go. Why did it say top chat? That's so weird. I didn't see any of your requests. Okay, we need a new president. I think that's the least of our problem. We need a new government. Everybody restaffing the entire thing. All right, I got a QQQ put that expires Tuesday by accident. I would probably get rid of that. EQIX monster gains. Nice job. All right, so the first one that we got right now is Tilray. Tilray. I see BA, Nvidia. Guys, if you will just hit the link in my bio, go to the YouTube channel, drop the request there, and then you can skedaddle right out of there. Okay, so I gave my price target for for Tilray, and man, I see this one being a penny stock. If you want my honest opinion, I believe that this one goes to the dollars, and there's really no reason. You could look at the lower time frame. There might be like something on the hourly. No, there's nothing here. Let's take a look right here. All right, there's one channel. There's one resistance. So that's as good as you get right there. So watch Tilray above 330. Then you have a chance to move up into this resistance at 360. But this stock's dead to me. My opinion on cannabis is pretty strong and probably not. I mean, I've been a part of the industry, so I do know a bit of how that industry works. I know a good bit about how the industry works, and I believe that it will change drastically. And a lot of these companies that were able to take advantage of the lucrativity of certain states being legal, and obviously mostly Canadian-based companies owning these cannabis companies, that will change if it does become federally legal. Nice job, 200 to 20K. That's amazing, man. Take some of that money out. Always take profit. All right, so the next one is HD, and I'm taking these from, I see them right now on, thank you guys for dropping those requests in the YouTube channel. How with this market? What? So I apparently already charted this. It looks like a extension right there, and you are at support. Is extended hours on? No. All right, let's go to the daily. Ooh. All right, so just like everything else, this is at support, and I mean dynamic support. Whenever I see where are we at or where am I looking, I go and I mark out historical price. So you can see right here we have a perfect right there. Look at that demand zone. So beautiful right underneath us. The bottom of that is 261. The median on that is 276. And then the top is 292. There's a mid level there at 285, but 292 or 290 and 292. So that's the zone that you're currently within. Usually at the median, if you're going to go and bounce back up, that's when you're going to do it for a retest. Now, you have already bounced multiple times off of 280 before ultimately pulling back up for a retest and then falling back down. So given this candle, I would look at the doji strategy, and anywhere below candle close 269.86, I would speculate you will go down to the lower 260s. I think ultimately you will, but one thing to keep in mind is that HD does have 2 taps off of resistance and 3 taps off of support. So if you count any of that in, and those of you who've been trading with me, you guys know very well, in any given pattern, once the 3 hits, whether that's support or resistance, a lot of times it will exhaust on that side of the trade and fall or break out. So I would look for HD anywhere above 280 for a possible retracement and gap fill up to 289 and 290. So yeah, I'm trying to catch your guys' request right now. Yes, tomorrow we have quad witching, guys. So it's going tomorrow. Just, and again, we talked about this so much today, and we might have to do it again. But that is the type of patience that it has to be exercised, especially in this market. The great quote that we saw today, was while people are fighting over pennies, we can sit and wait for dollars. So that's kind of how I see it at the moment as well. But anyway, we bounced off of 629 today on Tesla. Moving to the hourly time frame, you can see channel pretty saucy. You didn't end up going any lower. You end up hitting that key level rather than this dynamic support, which is around 615. If we were to gap down or pullback, that's where I would expect us to go. We can fail this pattern, and this is technically what you could consider an H pattern. If you go to the daily time frame, that is ugly. Excuse me, you're gonna have to go to the 4-hour time frame. So you can see that H right there. So continuation to the downside really means a Tesla back at 600, and anywhere below that, we're liable to fail that support and sink. I have a price target ultimately that we're going to see the 560s to 570s, maybe even a little bit lower. But at the moment, right now, I'm looking at a short. I'm still not entirely sure we're not going to see a short-term bounce, whether it's this week or next. A lot of things are getting really close to support and showing weakness. We have seen some heavy flow to the downside, but stupid people are rich as well. So, just kidding. What are my thoughts on the market tomorrow? Mostly focused on quad witching because that's going to suck. It could just have us chopping around. No, so volume can be high. Say there's a strong seller presence. You could have essentially market makers holding it up. You could have, again, to the flip side, if buyers are present, you can have people holding it down. It's about the amount of shares traded. Now, given the fact that if you have a very clear bullish day, a lot of the times those sellers won't step up until they see weakness, which will allow volume to move to the upside. But otherwise, high volume can actually be spotted at the tops and the bottom of things, where buyers and sellers essentially fight. So, the light of spirit. Are you raising your hand? So just think of like quad witching as all markets, futures, the stock market. All of these contracts are going to be expiring all at once. I think it's like 3.4 something like that is going to be expiring tomorrow. I just had it on a note, but yeah. So we have most of the time, 8 times out of 10, we're going to see potential chop, jerky direction in both sides. So tomorrow could be one of those days where you either hold till your stop loss, or you just go ahead and get out of the trade and just wait because you're likely to test, or even just again chop around before a 3-day weekend. So essentially, like. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so when I create the top of a channel, it's either A, from a swing high, from my most recent high, looking for my resistance to the downside, right? So I think we've talked about like Tesla, possibly having that resistance over at the 850 mark if we were to double bottom out of this. And so that's most of the time, recent most high or low. You can start from there and then drag that down. So that's most of the time, and that can be done on any given time frame. You can be on the 5-minute and see a downtrend break. So, like so, and then you can see right there, change in trend, break to the. Once you break that downtrend, you see a move to the upside. So. All right, Nvidia. So actually, I was a little bummed that I didn't catch this. Well, really AMD, because AMD was better. But Nvidia is at, just like everything else, it is at support, but it is not exactly the same setup that we're seeing with tech. This one looks like it can go lower down to the 140s, and you are at your 1, 2, 3 thirds. Really, you had 4 days sitting on that support. But ultimately, the longer you sit on a support, you either are going to break it or you're going to go ahead and bounce. And so for Nvidia, especially looking at the price action today, nobody pushing down, nobody pushing up. So really, it's kind of a question of where do you gap up or gap down. If you were to gap down, I would expect an immediate retest at the bell, go and gap fill, and then possibly so pump and flush. So you would pump, fill your gap, and then likely fall to the downside. If you were to gap up, then you have a chance for, especially around the 160 mark. If you gap up around 160, that would be a likely gap fill to the downside. You can look for a bounce, but you could also engulf this entire zone here and then end up falling to the downside as well. And then, I would say a flat open or a small gap up with just a quick pullback will allow for a bounce. So great buying opportunity. I am not buying yet. Yeah, I'm not buying yet. I will wait. I will wait until institution reloading zones, which are way lower. So there's also a lot of money going into the downside still, as far as long-term downside. But we are still well within a downtrend. I haven't even begun DCA yet. So yeah, Nvidia is toxic. Yeah, I try and wait to identify how stocks respond, and then of course the market is always forward thinking. So if we can see a light at the end of the tunnel, whatever that may be, which could take a year, could take 6 months, that's when I'll begin my buying process. But anything in between now and then, stocks have clearly shifted trends, and until that changes, I just still can't bring myself to buy. I sold, earlier this year, but I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm trying to chart as many as I can, but VA, I think I already have this charted. I do. There you go. Thanks, past me again. So this one, and we're gonna have to take a look a little bit deeper. So this is one, I don't trade BA. I would have traded the other day. It's a scalping, primarily in my opinion, it's great. It's a good stock to scalp because you get those quick moves, quick losses of supply and demand, quick bounces. That being said, you can tell by the price action that BA is at resistance. Take a step to that 4 hour again. That's that channel that you're trading in within right now. We want to keep that clean. There you go. So at the high, I would say 137.60, possibly 136.50. That's really where you want to break above. Ultimately, the same level that you're sitting at right now, 132.30. If you lose that level, then I would anticipate a possible another leg down. But this is a wedge type setup. It's also double bottoming, but it can reverse. And really, you would want to see 140.70 and then a solid test of this supply, 146.35, and then you have some more green skies. So he does not just he does not just not yet. But try to read that. What heat map is that? You're hilarious. TCRT. I think you were talking about this one, cancer stuff, right? That's a build. So 4 hour building right there. It does look like a bear flag, but ultimately what it shows is buyers holding up that 75-cent support, and that is probably across the board. So let's mark it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Right across the board. So that's kind of like the dividing line here, and you're holding it up. Looks like you've got the top there and then the median there. No. There we go. Okay, so what I like to see once I divide this kind of into threes, like you see right here, what I want to see is I want to see a move over the median. So essentially taking that supply zone, dividing by 50%. Obviously, the likelihood of moving to resistance increases above 93 cents. So 93.45, 95 cents. That's when you're liable to see a leg to the upside. If this is a news-based catalyst stock, then that changes everything. And then above this $1 mark, that's when if there is any shorts, you're probably going to see most of those get squeezed out. So you could see a bigger move there. And then Yeah, it looks good. I'll set an alert on it, I guess, and if it moves, maybe I have traded some stocks that went to around $30 to about 180 in one day, and made guapo. So, is it more profitable to short a stock outright or buy puts? I mean, technically, it could be both. I mean, it depends. I personally think it takes. Well, I know it takes less with options. So the risk to reward, and then with shorting a stock, the losses can be technically infinite, but you're going to get margin called. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of shorting stocks. Because yeah, that's just not what I do. If you have a vast amount of liquidity, sure. But options are an instrument of decay as well. So yeah, I would say on the options, it's probably more profitable. So yeah, yeah, puts all the way. I would say that there's certain situations where, like a stock that's like Hindenburg or something, or EBIX, that you could put in little risk and still see a big reward if it doesn't have options. But yeah, not my thing. I have shorted stocks. There's only a few stocks that I've actually shorted. And one of them is Nikola, and I got squeezed. So, yeah. Do I speak any other languages? Nope. I'm learning to. I've been trying to teach myself Hungarian. When will I start positions on DCA? So it's not necessarily a price, but more of a sentiment. But I would say like SPY 305, SPY 315 wouldn't be a bad area for me. But I mean, ultimately, we could go lower than that. Oh, very cool. Costco, eat shit. Um, that's what it looks like it's doing. All right, so I see a downtrend here pretty clearly. There it is. So let's go to the 4 hour. Let's clean it up. It's there. Starting from the most recent high. Moving averages backing me up right there. That looks good. Okay, so first of all, right now you have a rounded top on this 4 hour time frame. Anywhere above, and this downtrend is really going to count as far as whether you're going to move to the up or the downside. But that's going to be 475.80, and then ultimately above 488, 489, that area right there. That's when you could possibly see a relief push into supply. If you do not, and really this is a rounded top, and it's got a gap underneath it at 439.90. That's where I would speculate you're going to see your first bounce. Now, I think that this is incomplete, so there's not quite a setup here yet, other than the rounded top type setup here. Low volume, and you sat on top of support today, which is 448.40. What's my take on quad witching tomorrow? It's going to drive volatility, and there could be a lot of misdirection. Weekly contracts get wrecked. Yeah, it's gonna kind of. I'm short on most, if not all, Chinese stocks. Most of them, you're not an actual owner of those shares. So, all right. Auto pivots over Fib retracements. I like pivots just to back up key levels. I mean, I do lay over fibs if I find that the levels are hard to track. But I've been pretty proficient without them. It's not something that I needed, but something that I use if I do. So B Bumble. Wait, what? Did you say 140 by the end of the next week? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, I could see it happening, but I mean, that depends. We're still at support. Oh, Bumble. Bumble. I'm on Bumble. I'm not. What? Ah, there it is. Downtrend. So, look at how cute its first little pattern is. Aw. Death. Hell yeah, that's a $7 stock. Oh my God, I would short this thing. I would short the living daylights out of it. All right, so I see support here. Let's mark out some key levels because those are ultimately the most important. Bumble. Uh, 32. So that's currently where you just rejected. So if you can see, again, this is why we look at historical data. This is where buyers were. Obviously, they broke down. And then now this is where sellers step up. And you are being pushed back down. So what I like to do now that I see the daily time frame, I want to go ahead and mark out key levels below me. You guys can see those pretty clearly below us. Take a look at that. So we've got lots of respect here, a big wick bounce off of that, tons of consolidation here, and then finally a release and break to the upside right there. So that's where we are at right now. And then one more right there. That's 29.75. So Bumble below 26.65. I would speculate you're heading down to 19.95. If I was short on the company that is Bumble, I would be taking a position probably even lower. I don't know why, but part of me feels like this stock can go a lot lower. I do. Yeah, the more that I stare at this stock, the more that I see a ton of selling pressure. Yeah, tons of selling pressure. So, in my opinion, unless we squeeze out, and that's what's going to happen, Bumble above 34 bucks. You can see the daily 200-day moving average there, 34.35. That is also right. That is also my median over here for the top of this supply. Boom, bada, bing. So that's where we need to get this little pocket right here. Is where we need to get Bumble. That's right up in here. So. All right, VLO. Ooh, when I came down. This thing needs some milk. Bruh is right. All right, so, ouchie. So one of our admins, also a mentor of mine, Top Shelf, he called the pullback on he also took this thing all the way to the upside. It was incredible to watch. Now taking it all the way to the downside. I was asked to do some analysis on this one. After taking a peek at it, it definitely looks like we are possibly on our way down to the 106. Now, I will argue this one point. It has to be underneath 115 for VLO. It has to. And then underneath that, you've got 110. And depending on the trajectory, if you the longer that you stay here, the shorter or closer support gets in theory. So marking those key levels out right there, you can see those are the levels to the downside. Cleaning it up or moving down to the lower time frame, you can back those up. Look at that, perfect. So $100 and then 105 and then 110 even. Are those three downside targets. Ultimately, I would say 105 or 106 is closer to this support level. And this is a dynamic support, but one of the things that I look for, y'all, is I look for a confluence. Okay, that means a moving average that is moving alongside or around that support line. And I have a 500-day HMA, which is not a joke. This stock, this moving average, if you move below it, you more than likely are going to dump. If you move above it or you can't hold and you move back below it, you're going to dump. You move above it, you close, you're going to move up. You move below it, again, very rarely does it give it inaccurate signal as long as you hold and consolidate at that level, it will show potential shifts in trend, but it is like a magnet. You always come back. So I have already done SPY on YouTube, and so you could literally go to the live and just rewind it to the back. But I'll try and go over it. Just tap your screen, guys. That's all I ask, if you guys don't mind. Tomorrow will be interesting. Yeah, Bumble is... All right, so we got VLO, UAA... Ooh, Under Armour. This shit's going underground. Yikes. So this is another one. This is another one that is close enough at the moment, and it's kind of hard because I see support here, which creates this channel, the standard deviation channel, right there. So that looks, and we are currently at the 885. So anywhere lower below that, you got 760. Oof! And then look at that confluence, beautiful. Drop that down. That's support. That's 750 right there. So I would say 750 anywhere lower. If you go anywhere lower, you will, yeah, yeah, for sure. You're going to probably end up hitting 730, 740. So what indicator is called confluence? There is not an indicator called a confluence. What I'm talking about is, so let's say I draw, and I hate when I don't have like an example right in front of me, but I think I saw one. Yeah. So take a look at this. So oftentimes when I'm charting, you know, I'll try and there's some wicks or there's, you know, a little bit of choppy price action, and I'm trying to find if there is a resistance, where is the most accurate one, right? This is a move up and fake out, and we immediately gap down, wick up, and fall. So again, this is one of those situations where the 200-day moving average in this setup, right, ended up lining up. If we end up curling back up, this in response to that curl back up, this will likely curl and flatten out and move right into the 186.70s. So it'll oftentimes be when you are moving in that direction, if you find a downtrend in line with a higher time frame moving average, those can be considered as potentially valid. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's just backup, right? A backup moving average, basically backing up your theory or your analysis that there is a downtrend. Okay, we got one right now. So take a look at this. So this is the 15-minute. Take a look at this 50-day EMA, right? Moving down, holding the stock right here, and then if I clean that up, you'll notice it is literally right there. So that is what I'm looking for in a confluence, right? So if the moving averages are just moving supports and resistances, or they're moving in line with it, then that theory would back up what I'm talking about right now. I use the EMA system. I like more data. I do have metacalls. I also have Q puts. All right. All right. So someone asked for Roku. Ooh, inside day. That is usually a reversal candle. You can go both ways. So if you guys go look in the Discord, I have this pattern shown. This is just using wick theory. But anywhere underneath 77.30, watch for a retest of 75.50. Anywhere underneath that, I don't really have any. Let's see. Okay. You guys asked about a confluence. There's one, a perfect one. Check that out. Look, I line that down. It's right there. And I could go to the 4-hour and clean that up, so that way it's a respectable moving average. But yeah, you'll notice that those moving averages will move in line with my resistance. So that being said, support for Roku is looking like it's all the way at $66. So a reversal to the downside below 73, that's $66. To the upside, which seems hard to even imagine at the moment. But to the upside, it would likely be above 85.33 and 87 even for any chance for a move to the upside. FedEx. Did we look at FedEx? I feel like we did. No, we didn't. I think this is one of the only stocks that was green this week. I can see it. Okay. I have done AMD already. All right, so I see a downtrend starting from the most recent high, and you got a break in downtrend, at least lower time frame downtrend. This one is gone for what looks to be a retest. Okay, so the downtrend retest. It is a gap down, so tomorrow, I want to go to the hourly here. Interesting. All right, so a lot of the times I'll just kind of experimentally draw those resistances and downtrends, but I don't like this setup at all. Just seems like it's going to give you some headaches, but there's a gap fill up to 732. I would speculate that that's likely where your resistance is, and you could see a little bit of consolidation there before moving to the upside. Daily time frame, getting above this 200-day moving average is pretty pertinent. So, yes, you can only do. Yes, there's a lot of gaps to the upside, and gaps act like magnets. They always get filled. So. All right, so let's keep it moving. We got Roku, we got Netflix. I haven't done Netflix in a minute. I've had a lot of people be asking me about it though. Daily time frame, hot dog water. Starting from the highs, running to the lows. Starting from the lows, running to there. Okay, so we are at support. Looking just like FedEx right now, holding that 171.80. We'll see where we gap up or gap down. That would have a lot to do with what we're going to be end up doing tomorrow. If you end up gapping down to support, 1, 2, that's 3. So if not, and you end up moving up, the gap fills at 180.20. Point of control is at 184.33. So really, ultimately above 184.33 and 186.80. Hold on, I'm sorry. 185, 186. That's where you're going to see a supply retest, downtrend retest at 193 to 195. So Netflix to zeros. I use the 20, 50, and 200-day EMA. Let's see. DZN. Is that the crypto? Is that the crypto weatherman? Is this it, dude? I'll only take crypto requests from crypto weatherman. That's the only guy I'll take requests from. I don't do crypto man. Crypto man. All right, I'd like to go and start finding these zones. Very good. I'm nervous, man. I got crypto weatherman in here watching me chart. The hell. I was just talking about a bleed up. I must have summoned him. All right, so I do see a pretty beautiful. I mean, it looks like it's a channel down. So it looks like you're nearing support, which is almost near confluence with 661.71. I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing right now. Is it the right thing? Please tell me it's the right one. If not, I just charted some random shit, but oh well. And then let me go to the 4. Oh, we don't have one. We don't have one. Well, I like to try and see through the noise, and I see more confluence right here. That's a pop back up. You can see all of these right there. So I would say that moving alongside this channel to the downside, looking to go to the 6. I am charting it. Oh my god, damn it, crypto weatherman. Did I? That's not supposed to. I'm about to shut down the live. Are you fucking kidding me? Wow, he hit the most unlikely of snipers. I let my guard down for 1 minute. I let my guard down for 1 minute, the crypto man. Oh my god. He got me, dude. Oh, he charted these guts. Oh, screen recording. No. Oh my god, I charted these nuts. Oh my god. All right. Well, there's your Christmas present shit. I'm dead. Oh god. Here I am trying to do a good job for the crypto weatherman. And this Oh, don't let your guard down for anybody. Trust no one. Oh boy. Those of you guys on YouTube, I just got crypt by the. I just got crypt. I got pranked by the crypto weatherman. T Quantantos in Ecuador. I know that says indicators are bad in Spanish, and if anybody wants to translate and tell them I don't care. All right, so I see Tesla here. Oh man, I'm dead, dude. I'm dead. Is this what happened? Is this what crypto people do with bear markets? Murder. All right, so I have Amazon right now, just like the rest of the market, uh, around 625. I have the dynamic support line around 596, which means they may give you one more leg down and then jerk it right back up in your face. Resistance is so far away. Most things are oversold. Tesla does have, at least on the RSI, has a potential for another leg down. But looking at not only the dynamic trend line here, we're also going to be paying attention to some key levels because those are important. So right there, that's that level that we're at right now. The bottom, okay, I'm going to mark out a couple of them. So 590, 625, obviously $600 is a psychological number. If you're a day trader, you're going to see a bounce. Underneath that 590, I have near my price target, 550. I see Tesla going a little bit lower, but not right now. 100 after the split? Yeah, for sure. I could see it. Are you not streaming tomorrow? Yes. Listen, people who don't understand how to use indicators, um, I, I feel bad for them, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. It's up to them. There are some people who don't need it because they just trade key levels and they just take bounce trades and they just scalp. There are certain places where it's not needed. For me, I am looking for shifts in trend. I can tell you that one of my as far as long-term holdings, like I'm still pulling money out of this, right? So like I never got to hold my options all the way, but one of the most beautiful EMA crossovers I've ever seen in the market happen on Alcoa right around the time after earnings, which is when I came in. Because I was waiting for this exact thing, which is a EMA crossover to the downside. Find a stock that's bottoming underneath its EMA moving averages, and then you look for the 9, 20, and 50 to make that move. And you can see right there, I mean, it is literally that right there is all I need to know. We hit earnings. If you have shitty earnings, you will melt down. If you don't, and buyers like what they heard or they have faith in the stock, then you're going to see a move to the upside. That's almost and that obviously has to do with the conditions in the market. If the market if we're in a bear market, earnings are sometimes irrelevant just because of and in our situation, we're dealing with supply chain issues that affect almost everybody. So there's certain situations where the forecast is already given, regardless of the stock. So, did I say 2019? Oh, I said back. No, 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 no. I was just giving an example of a because I bought Alacola off that EMA crossover, and it went pretty high. It was a pretty good pick from there to there. So what is that? $13. Anyway, EMA crossovers. They're good. All right, let's take a look at Apple. Apple. So, like everybody else, Apple is dumb. No, just kidding. Apple is currently sitting right at near its support. Given the 4 hour time frame and looking at just the setup itself, oops. So I see the potential for a bounce still. And considering Apple's chart's not the greatest as far as cleanliness, but if you look at the daily, looking through the noise, I see Apple moving down to at a minimum 125, anywhere under 130. So if we do end up flushing on Friday, I would extend the support. And we talked about that yesterday. A lot of the times, especially with these daily supports like that, and you're seeing through the noise, those wicks can come in handy. So it's 127.50 and 125. And so if we see a bounce around there, which is a huge level, look at that. Do you guys see the point of control from August 13th of 2020 to, well, technically now, but looking back at this bull run all the way to around March, right? That is the point of control. That is a huge level. So I don't see us not bouncing. So next week, around 125, if this thing falls through, dude, I'll eat a sock. I swear to God. But yeah, I mean, I see this one nearing support like the rest of its counterparts. So, all right. We'll do UVXY and then we'll look at Upstart. Oh my God. So there's not really, whenever I'm looking at UVXY, I'm looking at gaps. I want to see where my nearest gaps are. Occasionally you'll see, trend like this. I don't think UVXY has done this in a long time though. Look at that bottom. Hold on a second. Damn. Yeah. So, and of course it went through a split, but I just wanted to see how it looked before COVID. So this one looks like it's bottoming out. 24 bucks straight up, and there is gaps up here on UVXY, little tiny micro gaps that can get filled, even larger gaps up to around the $48 level. So if the market did end up crashing, then off of a catalyst, then you could see that end up happening. But at the moment, it's in a wedge with a target with the 50% retracement target around 23.75. So puts for Putin. No. But no, anytime I see a wedge, I'm always going to mark out the 50% mark. That's usually where I go ahead and set my target. So it's going to be $20.77 and then $24 even. If you want to go look at Netflix, it's on the YouTube stream. So I think I did SQ already too. Yeah, SQ has a wedge. It's at support as well. That's it. Like it's right there. I have a bounce level for SQ right around, and it's really around it, but 55.75 and possibly even $55 even. So day 6 for me with cash balance just sitting. Those comments amp me up more than anything. You're exercising discipline, delayed gratification, and those are skills that the majority have a hard time. So you're doing the right thing. Potter, where am I from? I answered this earlier. I was born in LA, but I never lived anywhere longer than like 7 years. I went to 14 different schools overall under my parents' house roof, and then on my own, I tried to put myself through high school in 2 different high schools in 2 different places. So I've lived in every southern state below the top of Missouri, including some northern ones like New York. All right. Does wedge ends always reverse? No. 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 So wedges can do a multitude of things. In fact, right here, this is a bilateral wedge. Okay, there's the bottom. Ooh, come back here, you little shit. Boom. Okay, so you got a little wedge right there. As you can see, 1, 2, 3. I don't make this shit up. 1, 2. So wedges can be both ways, and wedges don't always have to extend themselves. They can. You can get an extension of the wedge, but ultimately, and we've seen that happen now a couple of times, especially over the last week as we see that consolidation. But lower time frame, so mostly 5-minute wedges, right? Falling and rising wedges, for the most part, are going to extend themselves. Period. Let me see if I'm trying to see if I can find an example of that. So, okay, here we go. I got one. Bing, bada, boom. Okay, so let's look at this. So that is a falling wedge right there. You got a little bit of noise right there. We're not paying attention to that. This is a falling wedge. Now, what do I say? 50% of the pattern itself. Again, I don't make this stuff up. That's what I saw. So we're going to go ahead and measure from the top or from the bottom to the top. Okay. And we're actually giving this one a little bit too much because that is the open. So we're going to actually move it from there. That's the wick. So from the top and the bottom, let's go take a 50% retracement of that pattern. Oh my gosh. Look at that, guys. It's almost like I didn't make this up. No, just kidding. Sorry. So 50% retracements, and then what happens? Channel. Now, this is a fake out. That is where I see 1, 2, 3, well respected. They let buyers squeeze it out up to the point of control. Key levels matter. Dump. Okay, and this is this is a FOMC meeting. You can expect things to get out of line. And that's oftentimes when you see that crazy volatility. So, quad witching is a big deal or no? Quad witching is a big deal, and if you trade options, you should be careful. Quad witching is basically where 4 witches will break into your house and rob you. One of their names is Jerome Powell. No kidding. And Nancy Pelosi. All right. Listen, Roblox is hot dog water, okay? And you don't have to believe me if you are bullish on it, but I want to ask you to ask yourself why. Why are you bullish on this stock? Other than the fact that they are claiming to be a part of the metaverse, where's the investments? Where's the return? Where's the numbers? And really, I think we're going to be asking ourselves, where's the bottom? Sorry, I didn't mean to roast Roblox, but I have been short on this stock since fucking $80. Since me and Nancy basically did hand-to-hand combat up around the $102 and $105 level. But I still see this one going lower. I see Roblox in the $16 level. Nope, technical analysis is not mute when the economy is toast. We're going to go down, but we're going to go down in style. Nice. Good job. Yeah, nice to see you guys making profits out there. All right, Upstart. I think I started Upstart, but then I didn't finish it because ADHD. You know, there's been a couple of TikTok videos that I thought about posting where I get distracted, and I thought about just leaving it in. Okay, so oh boy. Oh my God. That's not good. 2680 is your nearest support. This thing, oh my God, this thing might go to IPO lows or lower, which could be around, oh my God. So if you end up popping up, you do not want to go up. If for Upstart's sake, you probably want to hold your ground. But don't be surprised if this thing goes into the single digits. I mean, first of all, have you ever seen a bigger Head and Shoulders? I haven't. And that is a major, major, major shift in trend. And this one is continuously falling to the downside. I really don't see this one stopping until it gets down there. There is the potential break above $56. But other than that, I don't see this. And I would say 52.60 is where you could look at upside. Squirrel. Nancy is 10 out of 10. What are you talking about, dude? I literally beat Nancy in her own game. I mean, technically. I guess I didn't beat her because she probably still made more money than I did. But she shorted Roblox. I'm going to gloat for a second. She and I both took positions on Starbucks, or excuse me, Roblox. I believe I took it. Yeah, so we took it right around here, around the 102s. It dumped right on this bounce. You can see it right here. This is when Nancy announced her position. It moved to the upside. I held my ground. I held my stop loss. I think I had it around 105, and then we ended up moving to the downside. Money. And then we got a nice bear flag, and that one gapped down. And that was money as well. So. All right, we're gonna do UAL. Yeah, you can find my. I mean, if you watch me on here, I'm live all the time. You know, you can ask me anything, but yeah, most of that is going to be found in the Discord. So, so this one, I'm not 100% whether we found support or not, or if this is considered broken, which it can be. So this is actually the point of control, which oftentimes that is where support is, and that is 34.35. If you fall any lower, which I don't know if you will, if you do fall any lower, it's probably going to be to the 30s. But if we get a bounce like I'm anticipating, then this one might actually see another move up to retest the level that it has left untested, which is the 40.60. Excuse me. You know what? I don't even want to talk about EVs right now because I decided to switch from Lucid to or Rivian to Lee. And granted, Rivian is not dumping yet, but it does have a perfect head and shoulders, and I want to short the ever living dog crap out of it. But anyway, going back to what you said, Lucid. This one actually looks a little bit cleaner. This one shows a clean rejection off of this sweet channel. Right now we are sitting at the $15 support, anywhere below $15.50 and $15. Oh my God, dude, I feel like everybody's gonna hate me, but this one doesn't really have much hope other than falling back down to around IPO prices of $10 based on this channel. And based on the trend. That's the trend that it's in. And so what we do is we play the trend until the trend changes. So right now, as you're up against resistance, you can contemplate that trend change if we end up breaking to the downside. But right now, all signs point to south. And I would say reluctantly, well, maybe not reluctantly, but below $15, you're in for it. Yeah, I'm kind of baffled right now because everything is at the top of their channels, especially smaller caps. So what I'm noticing is that Facebook, Google, Apple, they're at the bottoms, but Li Auto, Neo, Rivian are at the tops, which makes me wonder if we're not going to see that like split that we talked about, like that cracking where we see certain things fall off the map and people run for safety and then those fall off the map. So. You turned me on to. I didn't do that, weirdo. Para. I'm just kidding. So did you shorted it? I'm assuming. I must have told you to short it. I don't remember. What did I tell? Oh, I did. Look at that. That's the chart. Oh shit. Well, congratulations. I didn't take that. Damn. You made bank. Man, y'all gotta post those gains in the Discord, man, or DM me if you ever make money on some shit that I did analysis for you. Just that's all I wanna see it. The wizard always turning things on. That's right, Aloha Mora. I think that's a key opening spell. Never mind. I don't know my magic. I did already look at Starbucks. Are you live on the Discord? I am every day, but not right now. I'm just on YouTube. Can Lee, Rivian, Tesla, etc., diverge from a rising stock market? If there's weakness in that sector, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the overall market will go up, and then on those days you'll see a divergence. So I have already done Tesla. I think I've done it multiple times now, but I'll go ahead and do it one last time. You are at support. You have a downtrend, really coming off of this high. And so this is likely where you might end up bouncing, retesting, and seeing 704 and or below 625, depending on what we do tomorrow morning. I have a target of 570, 575 on Tesla. So, do I watch basketball? I don't really watch anything. I don't watch a lot of sports or, yeah, I'm kind of a hippie, guys. Like, I spend a lot of time in my backyard and with my kids mostly. They watch some sports, but and I'll watch with them, but mostly we like to play it in real life. No, I'm not buying anything yet. Um, oh my God, OPK, that's still around? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, look at that thing. Dead. It's dead. They killed it. Oh my God, look at it. Still dumb. I remember. Oh man, look at all the squeezes that happened on it. And then they just were liquidity pumps to dump this thing even lower. You know, OPK was actually Weeble's stock. They used to give out a ton of OPK, and you can look when Weeble bought them. I'm live in the morning around 8:30. So yeah, I started trading so I can spend more time with my kids too. Sell everything, crisis coming. I think the time to sell has already passed. Now it's grab your cheeks and try and protect your investments. I mean, hedges, there's things that you can do that are not selling your entire position. So, I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, do what you want, but um, if I was still bag holding, I'd probably just start managing my trades or my positions. So, RGN Regeneron. I remember this. I remember this. I remember all of Regeneron, dude. That stock sucked. It was fun, but then it sucked. All right, so looks like you're channel down here. That's the bottom. Why are you so goofy looking? That's why. All right, so if you bounce, watch Regeneron above 575 and really 582 for a solid retest of $600 and maybe even the point of control at 618. I lost about 20 pounds the last days. Well, good on you for your health. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. That was an American thing to do right there. Is that a lot of money? I don't think so, right? Is that? That's not bad. So you just been kind of losing a little bit? Euros? I'm sorry, guys. I forget what the pound and the I get them confused. What is it's 21 bucks. Yeah, it's not bad. Shit. That's okay to lose a little bit of money. If you're going to lose money, you know. We just try to make sure that and I think that's the one shitty part that, again, you know, the lies and the shit that's been done during COVID to try and sell courses and convince people that this is an instant Lambo type situation. Like that's been hard to kill off, and most people, you know, don't like psychologically cannot handle losses because they think it's the beginning of the end. But really, it's just a part of the game. You know, sometimes you're going to take something and it's not going to do what you thought. And if you had set a good stop loss, knowing where it's going to reverse based on buying and selling, supply and demand, resistance and support, which can be relative, which should be identified before the trade is taken. Today on Meta, you know, whether we ended up with a lot of money or even cutting certain positions, we still were able to make a little bit of money and cut our contracts. We traded this little tiny bump right here to the upside, and then this pretty much just dumped. Oh shit, my bad. TikTok. But this pretty much just dumped to the downside. But you know, there was losses to be had. And in fact, overall, so the situation was yesterday, I actually took a really cheap 182.50 for June 24th on Facebook, right? And of course, I didn't go into this dumb. I went into this with a QQQ hedge, 270 strike expiring the 17th, and that ended up, I think it was around 50 bucks. That was sold for around $1.70, which paid for the entire contract on Meta, and then I was able to go ahead and just trade Meta in order to make up for whatever losses, which there was none at that point because the trade was paid for. So at this point I am green, but still managing a red contract, which is totally fine because it's outside of my risk, and I can just trade Facebook now, and if it ends up going up, that's great because then I'll make that money back. But yes, you are going to lose money. You're going to lose money. It's inevitable. You have to. It's just a part of the game. And if you're losing a lot of it, you're doing something wrong. And what you're doing is not working, you know, and so it's time to get back to the drawing board. It's if you're losing and breaking into your own risk, like you're damaging your portfolio, you know, things are starting, it's becoming more of a recovery game. That's when things get, you know, hairy. So. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night, everybody. I got a lot to get ready for since I'm leaving this weekend, and if I want to be up bright and early, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off now. But I appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. Hopefully this helps. We will be live tomorrow morning to continue the struggle. No, just kidding. Hopefully we get a nice move tomorrow. We did swing Facebook calls with another hedge based on this triangle, but we did take a really cheap out of the money contract expiring next week, so we're safe and sound. All right. Peace out, YouTube.